white shirt on, so I'm easy to see. I've been down here stranded indefinitely. I can't reach my planet, but I need to leave. You should see these people. It's hard to believe how they treat each other. It's hard to conceive. Oh, Earth is ghetto. I wanna leave. Oh, Earth is ghetto. I wanna leave. I wanna leave. I wanna leave. I wanna leave.
Do you like the sex? Do you like the rain? Well, go ahead and pick up my single about sex in the rain. Go head over to YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, all musical outlets. Pick up that single, and I want you to add it to your playlist and tell your friend about it too. So y'all all can be doing what? Having sex in the rain. Take a listen. Tell me what you think about it. No matter how hard you try, I can't. How are y'all doing tonight? What's up, everybody? Your boy Walt B is in the house in full effect, and we are here to have the conversation. Hey, Monique, how you doing? How you doing? Hey, Justin, nice to see you out on tonight. Nice to see the people. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's I'm just so excited and so overjoyed that you all are with us on tonight. Um, Again, y'all know what it is. You know what it is. I hope you got your drink what? All the way together. Because we are getting ready to have the conversation. This is the one place on the internet where we can all truly have our own opinion, express them, and still get along. But no, we don't agree on everything, do we?
Oh no, why should we?
No, that's what makes the world go round. But we can absolutely voice our disagreements without being disrespectful. And in the end, we all agree on one thing, and that is that I'm right. Okay, but no, I'm just playing. No. We
Yeah,
all we all agree on one thing, and that is that everyone has a right to their own opinion. Okay,
absolutely.
so I'm putting my last little touches on my drink because I got my drink wet all the way together. Now, I sipped with y'all last night, so tonight I don't have no alcohol tonight. This is grape soda, but I like to drink out of a wine glass.
Every time, milk, orange juice, chocolate, all in a wine
Communion juice, like her. And I'm just
glass. Yes.
yes,
True.
yes.
Oh. So, I was going to the club. This is before I started drinking alcohol.
Okay.
I was going to the club,
Hmm.
and every time I would go, I would still need something to drink. So I would just ask for ice water.
Right.
And this chick walked up and was like, "Oh, what you drinking? That look good." I was like, "It's water."
Hmm.
And she was like, "Well, why your water looks so good?" It's like, "Oh,
Mm.
the wine glass." It's the wine glass. It helps.
Hey, Gail! Y'all share this video. Y'all share this video. Gail, you might have to come on here in a minute. Um, Shoot, in a minute, Gail, you may have to come on here and help. Help us further discuss these topics on tonight. By the way, at any point, if you want to join us on screen, now we're not gonna stop what we're talking about and let you on. You might have to wait a minute. I had somebody get mad when I clicked on and I came. You didn't put me right up, baby. I'm not gonna interrupt Manal while she flowing. Okay. Um, but you will get on screen. Okay. Like I said, this is the one place where we all can express our own opinions and thoughts But we have to be real. Like Manal and I are the host, and that's just and Gail is like an unspoken third host. Like
Honorary guest.
right, every time she come on, we don't ever make her leave. Like, no, just keep talking, sis. Just keep talking.
We never.
Everybody else, it'd be like so not fair. Everybody else be like, your 2 minutes is up, boo. I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry. No, nah, but it really all is really in love. It really all is in love.
Wow, I love
Okay,
the hair that you got going
you
on.
are.
I am digging it. It looks so good.
Well, I have been known to whip out a do every now and then.
Well, you did
This
that.
is how. So this is how I had my hair
Mm-hmm.
when they was getting ready to bash me in the back of the church for me being gay bisexual. They was like, "Oh no, we need to have a meeting." I didn't know they were going to try to have this meeting and this discussion, so I just showed up being fly. And like I previously stated, every singer's dream is to have your hair up and sing so hard till your hair just came down, and it just happened that way.
Yeah, it's
It
you
just
said it
happened.
so bad it stuck to your face.
Right. It just happened that way. And so when I went to the back, I was pulling her back up where she needed to be. And that's when, I realized from that moment I would not be there much longer, because that's when the leadership actually polarized. There were a lot of leaders that was like, you know what? Let him do his thing. He's anointed. We feel it. Such and such and such and such. And then there were those that were like, no, he's got to. Yes, it is definitely fresh from the pulling. All I'm saying is choke me, spank me, and pull my
You're
hair.
all
That's all. That's all I'm saying. And may the Lord add a blessing to the reading. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Man. Which leads me to my thought for the week. This week has been hectic for me as a content creator. Every time I tried to provoke a conversation, there was an over religious zealot right there, Johnny on the spot, ready to beat my spiritual ass. Okay. Like,
bless you.
so on YouTube, and it was crazy. It was crazy because on YouTube, one guy just began to go ham on me particularly. So I put a video up of some discussions that I've had, and he decided to go ham so much so till YouTube started pulling down his comments. I wasn't pulling them down. I was going to respond to them. But YouTube sends me a notification every time they, have to remove a comment or something like that I may have responded to. And so YouTube was like, we've removed this comment because it borderlines bullying and this, that, and the fifth.
Oh.
And so I said, okay, but I was okay with it because I handles my own.
He said, I'm here for all
You
of
know. Right. This week I had time this week, cuz. So then I came over here on um Facebook. Okay. Now I recently began to talk about my spiritual journey again. I had closed that portion off to the following, and I'm getting ready to get into my inspirational word in a second. I closed that portion off to the public because I got sick of getting in arguments over how can you tell us about Jesus and you gay? How can you tell us about Jesus and you bisexual? How can you tell us about Jesus and you have a show called Freaky Friday? Because believe it or not, people watch the show but won't comment or click a like or share the video, but will watch the whole show, talk about the show with their friends. At the end of the day, that's what these platforms are for. So I recently started talking about Jesus again, and I didn't realize that there were as many people that don't like when I talk about spirituality. There are more that actually do like when I share my spiritual posts. I didn't know. Sometimes you become so blinded because the people that talk the loudest seem to be the people that are talking the most negative.
Absolutely.
Girl, so I started posting about Jesus, but I'm always gonna be a nut, so I'm always gonna have a joke somewhere in my shata. and I put a joke up. Why did I do that? Lord, this one gentleman who I low key think had a crush on me because of some other stuff he did previous to these few next posts I'm about to discuss. But um, he started coming at me like really hard, telling me I had a demon and I got a sex addiction. And I'm like, bruh, as bad of a drought as I'm in, if I had a sex addiction, I would be,
You would be the person to
I'm, right? I'm sitting here as horny as I am. That. Mm-mm.
know.
I mean, he went. I mean, he was. You would have thought he had a PhD the way he was trying to read your boy. But it just made this thought spring up in me because at one point, I'm normally kind and polite, but at one point I just had to check him. Then he responded and then kindly told me because I was getting ready to come with some heat. You know how you set them up, then you let them set their stuff up, and then you got to knock them down. So I checked him. He came back, and in the midst of his comeback, he was like, "I'm not responding to you no more. I'm just not doing it." I'm like, "Oh, you knew I was going to come for that ass. That's what that was. That's what that was." Yeah, he started bringing up Greek and stuff. I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. Come on with it. Come on." But it brought this thought. You have to work, and I want everyone to hear me. You have to work hard and get into a place where you are comfortable with yourself. Someone will always have an argument, an opinion, a point of view, and there may be some credence to what they are saying. Okay, she's joined us. Yes, Lord. There may be some credence to what they are saying. There may be some truth in some of what they're saying, but you got to learn how to eat the fish, spit out the bones. I'm not going to sit up here and keep changing every time somebody has something negative to say about me. And I want everyone to grasp this, okay? Especially my LGBTQI people, okay? When you walk with God and you finally got to a place where you and God are at peace, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot let Bible thumpers come. They're going to have 50 million scriptures. But let me tell you something. You're going to go 5 years without engaging same gender. You're going to go 10 years without engaging same gender. And I don't mean to be, I'm not prophesying negativity on anybody. I'm telling the goddamn truth. Excuse my motherfucking language. That all was contradicting. But I'm telling the truth. You're going to go all of these years. And eventually you're going to find out that it doesn't go anywhere. You just suppress it, you suppress it, you suppress it. And the more you suppress it and repress it, it's going to show up in other areas. Okay? It's okay to be who you are. And God loves you. Okay? God loves you. So my inspirational word is work hard to find your peace. Work hard to find your peace. As I shared with the gentleman this week, I am who I am, so some of you can be who you are. Okay? I had to get kicked out of church and be open and free about who I am, just so that you can get to a place of peace
Yeah.
with who you are. Okay? Any, there are people that never would have thought I was gay. I don't know how, because to me, I'm really like, but anyway, there are some people that never would have thought I was gay. So I had to come out of that closet. My uncle teases me and said, "No, you didn't just come out the closet. You came out the house. Like you said, you came all the way out the house, bruh." But I had to come out the closet, and then I had to maintain my relationship with God. And I'm okay. I see some of y'all clicking off. I'm okay with that. It is what it is. I had to maintain my relationship with God so that you can see that it's okay. So that you can see that it's fine and that God is with you. All right. Anyone have anything they want to add to that before we move on into our hot topics?
So like I likened it unto really not being tied to your own exploration in life. When you lean into the reality that we are all creators, we are all our archetypes of our own, architects of our own existence, and
Right.
we are in this life, and instead of looking at things like bad and good and that was a mistake, just remember that we're all learning and we're all trying to figure it out. And that takes exploration, that takes
Yeah.
innovation, um, and not judging yourself in the process of building your life. And really, people are more tied to your challenges and your hurdles and your lessons than you should be most times. Um,
Right.
and it's like, man, have you ever been driving a car and you have somebody in the passenger seat and you end up making a wrong turn, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you're cool, like you're cool about it. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna just turn and then we're gonna make this other turn and eventually we're gonna get to where we're going. And you're fine. But that person in the passenger seat is flipping out. Like, why would you make that turn? Why did you do that? Why did you go to I was trying to tell you. And it's like, but we gonna get there though.
Right. Right. Right.
We're going to get there. And you got to your destination and you are completely satisfied with the way you got there. But the person in the passenger seat is getting out of that passenger side door still fussing,
Mm-hmm.
about that wrong turn you made 5 blocks ago, And
And
so
can I just put a pin there? And they didn't put it on no gas. Go ahead. And they didn't put it on no gas. I'm just sorry. I had to
you ain't
throw
put it
that in there
in
too.
gas. Matter of fact, I asked you to come roll with me. Like you weren't even supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
rolling. This wasn't even your trip. It was
It
mine.
gets better. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the reality is that, again, we keep in our minds that life is all about trial and error.
Right.
That's
Right.
a scientific way to approach life. And if you approach life as an explorer, as a scientist, and as a creative, then you free yourself of all of the challenges and pitfalls and you look at them as ways for you to learn just to continue to create.
I love it. I love it. All right. How about you, Gail? Anything before we dive
Yeah.
into? Mm-hmm.
So I made a Facebook post and hello everybody. It is great to be on tonight. Thank you for being an honorary member of the Freaky
Oh, you
Friday.
heard that, huh?
Yes, I did. Um, but I made a post earlier this week that says living by others' expectations and experiences
Mm,
will kill you.
I read that. Mm-hmm.
Use it for information to make an informed decision for what you need and want at that time. And
Yeah.
so a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
we don't process people's other things that we see and we experience as information. We process it as law, truth, or a belief system
Mhm.
that's supposed to
Mm-hmm.
be true to us. And so it does not give you the ability to grow in your individuality as a person. And
Yeah.
so when you lose the expectations and lose believing the experiences of others as your own, internalizing that, and losing the word suppose out of your vocabulary, it will help you
Mm-hmm.
grow. And you won't have to fight through some of the things that Walt B is talking about, some of the things that I talk about
Mm-hmm.
accepting my sexuality and my gender, um, and still can have a relationship with Christ.
I love it. I love it. Hey, Renee. Okay. So tonight's first topic. By the way, I didn't plan for this to kind of be like a LGBTQ theme show. It just kind of happened, and then this week kind of just threw me like right there. I just want to throw that out there too. But this week, there's something very interesting happened. There is a new Superman in the DC universe. It is the original Superman, Kal-El's son, John. But John has an interesting side to him. John is bisexual. Bisexual. That's how you. John likes the women's and the men's. Now, this has created a serious uproar, as you can imagine, because you have those that are saying, we want our regular, pure blooded, blooded American Superman, the red, white, and blue. And then you have others that are saying it's okay, just let it go. And then you have people that's just like, hey, you know what? Who cares? It's a comic book. It's not real life. Okay. I just want to know, what are your thoughts on tonight? Are you okay with a bisexual Superman, or are you saying he needs to be hetero, metro? Should they have, maybe said he was bisexual because he was under hypnosis of someone, and mind controlled into liking this other young gentleman that he's with, but then he breaks every chain and he comes back to women. What is
I
the
can't.
He gets baptized.
in the nombre?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, he goes down in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Right. What are your thoughts on this? Anyone?
So one, I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious how we are just so bent on our opinions about everything. About
Hmm.
and I really would like to know how many people are investing as much energy into their own personal choices.
Come
Um,
on.
but that's a whole nother. It's a whole nother.
Hmm.
But for me, um, I look at it like this. I believe that representation is everything, right? As a woman, as a
Hmm.
black woman, as a millennial, um, as a preacher's kid turned spiritual, like representation is important. Um, and I do believe that the LGBTQ plus community does need representation in
Right.
every facet of life, and art reflects life. And so we do need to have representation in our superheroes. That is right. But I don't agree with taking Superman now making that character bisexual. I believe another character just needs to be created, like create something new, because
Okay.
Superman is already Superman. What's the problem?
Okay. Okay. Now, is it me, or is her sound messing up on everyone's end?
Her sound's messing up.
Okay.
Is
Yeah, you sound a little
Mm-mm.
robotic. I did get what you said though. You said you don't think they should have turned Superman bisexual, that they should have created something new and
mm-hmm.
had that one be bisexual. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Gail, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same lines of Manal, like let's create our own. Um, that we because how many times do we say, we want to be our own person,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then we go and then recreate something that has already been created.
Been done. Okay.
Yeah, so let's create our own. Um, I think the other issue is that, a lot of people are upset because they're being challenged in their heterosexual thinking,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Like America evolves around heterosexual concepts and constructs and things like that. So to put something out in media that's different from what they always know, oh my God, the world just burnt down, And so people don't know how to be individuals and don't know how to think for themselves and know how to trust themselves and be living their authentic truth. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that I think that's the biggest uproar because everyone thinks everything is heteronormative
Right. Right.
when there is a whole nother world. The
Agreed.
LGBTQ plus is a world that is living and doing well. And
Mm-hmm.
not trying to impose our stuff on other people, just wanting to live and be free.
Mm-hmm. Right. One of the posts I read was saying, "What about the children? What about the kids?" Well, that's how I read it. When I read it, that's the voice I heard. But my feelings are a little opposite you all's because I feel like they did a good job in allowing the straight Superman to pass the mantle down to his son,
Mhm.
who then came out of the closet. I think they are dealing, in my opinion, very well with the family dynamic because Superman had to know his son was bisexual. He got super hearing, so you ain't gonna tell me he didn't hear him and his boyfriend in there slobbing and whatever. And then you
No.
need him on the phone like, "Hey boo, how you doing? Hey super boo." Like like you're not gonna tell me that Pops didn't hear some of this going on. I think this is introducing a good family dynamic. And then I also think that it is challenging to people. Now, what I do see happening in the DC universe that is kind of alarming is they're turning everybody gay. Uh, Supergirl's sister, Batwoman is gay or lesbian. Now, Superboy is gay, bisexual. Then they got the other one who is actually gay, the other superhero who is gay. I don't want them to go overboard. We still need to
Right.
present balance. There needs to be balance. People can be heterosexual. People can be bisexual. People can be gay. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a. They already do have a transgender hawk girl or eagle girl or I forgot her name, but she's transgender in the DC universe. Okay, so I think they're representing people in a good way. I just hope they don't just get carried away, and then there's no one representing the straight people anymore. Like the answer to oppression is not oppression. Okay, there has to be the answer is okay. Those who are down here now need to be brought up, and we need to be equal. That's how I feel. Um, it should be. Um, Now, I dig how they did the shock value. You know, bam, he's gay, and then I like how his mother is a reporter and he's dating a reporter. So it shows that you can still find yourself in some way in this thing that we call life. Absolutely. I love it. Ooh, I like it. Okay, so so we have a little difference of opinion. Let's ask those of you that are watching: are you okay with the new bisexual Superman? Do you think they should have left it the way it was? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, those of you that are watching?
I mean, I definitely see how it feeds into, generationally what is happening as far as
Okay.
the LGBTQ plus being more visible, having more of a voice and presence in our pop culture. So for that, I do think it is necessary, and I think it is. It speaks to the progress that has been made by the
Mm-hmm.
LGBTQ plus community. And even just and Gail, I don't know if you ran into this, but I work at a facility for women with substance misuse challenges, and
Mhm.
we have women that come in and they identify as male. And
Mm-hmm.
so me with my little progressive ass, I'm like, well, what you want to be called? Like, let's go. Who said you panties?
Mm-hmm.
You don't need panties. Can we get some boxers up in here? Like I'm a little different.
Right.
The rest of the staff is like, well, I mean, man. No. Like we need male clothes in our clothing closet, and we need to put them on a different floor or something. Let's respect who they want to be. And one of them made a joke. It was so hilarious. Because I mean it was a tragic moment, but she found humor in it. He
Mhm.
humor in it. He was he was on drugs, and he ended up falling asleep on a park bench, and the police rushed him and was wrestling with him, and he rolled over and pulled his shirt up to show his breasts and started saying, "I'm a woman," just so that way they will soften their approach, you know.
Hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, I mean, just that conversation, and finding that humor. But you know, we have to find ways to respect people in whatever
Agreed.
way, and making sure that we have the tools to support individuals and have that representation, and giving them the space to have that voice, and however they want to be identified as. And I don't get to tell you that, not even in the capacity of a treatment center. No, I'm not doing that. How you want to show up.
Yeah, I think not just in the capacity of a treatment center or in any workplace, just everyday people is having a hard time with pronouns, right?
Right, right.
Uh,
Hmm.
I was having a conversation with some friends on another podcast, and they got to the pronouns conversation, and me, who I am, I go by she, her, they, them, and that they, them thing throws everybody for a total loop. Like,
Hmm.
no, how do you identify she, her, they, them? And I only do the she, her to make it easier on you, because most times it's the they, them. So I think it's just because we think, oh, this is good. Because we think that gender and sex means the same thing.
Okay.
So if you're born female, then they think you should be identified as female. But gender and your sex is not the same. And so we need to start having that conversation so people can understand why people identify the way that they do.
Yeah, yeah. And so I would be interested to see if the Superman um, movie and character starts that dialogue for sure, um,
Okay.
as far as the pronouns go, but then also too just how to create that space for safe conversation,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
because we need it. And
We do.
it's not even just LGBTQ plus. I mean, us as people, as human beings,
Right. To talk
we
about
need
any
to learn how to make space for people to show up however they want to.
and just to have a difference of opinion. Like it is crazy how many people feel like no one has the right to disagree with them.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. I feel like sometimes we need to trade places. It brings us to our song of the freak, which is a play on the song of the week. This week, the song of the freak is Trading Places by Usher. This song is brought to us by none other than Manal. Manal, I actually have to tell you, I didn't know this song was so amazing until you made me look up these lyrics. Check this out. Now we're gonna do something a little different tonight. You're gonna come over and pick me up. Then what he say? You gonna knock or you gonna honk and you gonna wait.
Mm-hmm.
I said he's ministering.
I can't.
He is absolutely ministering and he is reading the room because that is literally what happens every time. Just the first few lines of the song. He is absolutely ministering on tonight, trading places was, and I absolutely get why you're saying this can be the song of the freak.
Yeah.
Now, what we do with the song of the freak is we stream this song. It's our way of giving back to our creators, our artists. So we're gonna stream this song this week. This is what is gonna be on our mind: trading places. How can this song show up in your love life this week, Manal?
Oh, you know what? So like I am a nurturer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so usually I am a giver. So
Yes,
what's
I
really
give.
interesting is I have an individual who is like, no, 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 let me cater to you actually. And so like the trading places has actually flipped for me
Mm-hmm.
right now. But one of the things that I do desire to do, hopefully this weekend, let's see how it all works out.
Mm.
Have
Ew.
a candlelit massage session and my person be on the receiving end of that massage night.
Okay.
I got a question. You know I'm newsy as shit. Um, Manal, are you a submissive?
So early years. So
Wait a minute. She went back robotic. No,
Yeah, she went back robotic.
you come out. You come up out of that Wi-Fi, you devil. You you don't want us to hear what the woman of God is saying.
She may have to exit out and come back in.
You yeah. You may have to exit and come back in, sis. Um, I'm gonna tell you this song when he got to that part about I'm waking you up to Folgers and pancakes in the morning. I said this guy is on to something.
Hmm.
He's definitely on to something. And then at one point of the song, he started saying, I'm always on the top, but tonight I'm gonna be on the bottom.
Bottom. That's what
I
the song
said,
says.
okay, all right. Always naive. I absolutely loved the to me the concept was genius when he talked
Hmm.
about trading places, and then whoever worked those lyrics, kudos to you. Manal, you picked a good one when you picked that song. That is definitely a song of the freak. My suggestion is how we can this shows up in our relationship is, and I'm gonna give it back to you. I want you to finish your thought, and I definitely want you to answer that question, Gail, and us. You know, because I'm all for a little tea being spilled. I believe in sipping wine, and I believe in sipping good tea. Oh yes, he does. Oh yes, he does. I think we can. This can show up in our relationships by us going the extra mile.
Hmm.
Okay, just to take care of our mate in a way that we don't normally do. Okay. I'm very open about since I've been single after marriage. I have run across some people that have really challenged me to receive things that I wasn't used to receiving. And it showed me the level of care they had for me. But then
Hmm.
it also did something for my level of confidence if I'm gonna tell the truth, you know. It did something for my level of confidence. And so I think this song can show up in our relationship by us doing something not awkward and annoying, but something, just that our mate typically does for us.
Mhm.
If we can convey that back to them, if we could translate that to their love language and give it back to them.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm back out of it. Are you a submissive? You like, yeah.
So, okay, so this applies, right? So, one of the things that's important is to me is to not get locked into an idea of how your sexuality, sensuality, or ways of connecting plays out. Like for me, everything is all about evolution. It's about discovery. It's about play, and it's about the give and take, right? The ebbs and flows. So sometimes, depending on the situation, it is appropriate for you to be the submissive because your partner is needing to give in a certain way and is needing to receive in a certain way, right? And then other times it is more appropriate for you to be the dom. And so in my early years, I was the submissive, but it was also because I didn't know what I wanted. I had a lot more
Mhm.
insecurities. I didn't have that. I didn't have that. Coming from of course, being a female, not having that dialogue and not really understanding self and how self
Mhm.
shows up in relationship and then how self shows up in sexual relationship. I was always more comfortable with my partner leading.
Mm.
Mhm.
But now it's whatever is right is what's going to happen.
I love it.
Yeah.
Whenever, whatever. Yeah. All right, I'm just playing, y'all. That ain't even how I sing now.
But I love trading places though,
Mm-hmm.
because we get out of that mindset that men don't want to be treated. More
Yes.
masculine energy doesn't want
Mhm.
to be nurtured and cared for and
And
taken
appreciate it.
to.
Yes.
And so, for me, being that I operate in the full gambit of my female energy, I know how
Mm-hmm.
to turn it up, but I also know when it's an appropriate time to turn it down, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
and in that turning down, that doesn't mean that now this masculine energy is now overpowering, but I'm turning down to soften up so that way I can nurture now that masculine energy in a way that's necessary, healing, and life giving.
I always say this: when someone submits to you, you have to be grateful and understand they are giving you something. Okay, because they don't have
Yes.
to be. They don't have to be submissive. Everyone has the right to say no. This ain't it.
You earn submission.
Exactly, and you appreciate it when it's given. But then you have those that walk around like it's owed to them. Nah, boo. Nah. Pipe
Yeah.
down and appreciate it when it's given. Yes. All right. Next topic on this evening. This one has taken the internet by storm. Mr. Dave Chappelle. Now, this is really polarized a lot of communities, a lot of people. People don't like his comments because he said, as far as the baby is concerned, the baby actually committed a 187. I'm not going to say the word because YouTube will snatch my video down, but he committed, he took someone's existence and his rap career was fine, but he hurt, according to Dave Chappelle, he hurt gay people's feelings and now his rap career is in jeopardy. Okay. And so, with that statement and others, now he did say a whole lot during the special.
You do.
Um, People are in an uproar. They're wanting to cancel Dave Chappelle. And I got a question, and I sincerely have a question, and I'm going to give my opinion. But my question is, should we cancel him, or are we just being too sensitive?
Look, well, honestly, I'm tired of this whole conversation about canceling people. Like,
Okay,
are
let's
you being
yeah.
canceled at your job because you showing up and you being terrible? Are you being canceled in your family because you not showing up in your family unit? Are you being canceled at your church because you just doing way too much or not enough? Like, are you being canceled? So on a larger scale,
Mm-hmm.
we have to stop we have to stop isolating and polarizing everything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, that's a huge issue. Now, as far as Dave Chappelle, I will never cancel Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle
Okay.
is one of the last truth tellers that we have
Okay.
in our generation in comedy, in the public eye. And truth tellers in the sense that um, he allows those critical questions to fall out of his mouth, and he presents things in such a way where you have to think. You have to think. He is calling people into consciousness
And
every time he gets
accountability.
up on
Yeah.
stage. Consciousness and accountability. Yes, every time he gets
Hmm.
up on that stage. And I am a fan of comedy.
Me too.
Um,
Hmm.
and I am it took me a long time to actually take Dave Chappelle seriously, honestly. I
Okay.
wasn't one of those people that fell in love with the Chappelle show and all that. I didn't. And when people were watching it, I didn't understand it because it was so far removed from my church girl experience, right? So I didn't
Mm-hmm.
accept it at first. And it took me dating a comedian to watch Dave Chappelle show, to watch Boondocks, because I was another one. I was like, this is
I
just
love the Boondocks.
of the will of God. I didn't get it. And so when that individual explained to me
Hmm.
the mind behind the creation of that work, and I looked at it now as art, and I looked at it now as social commentary, and I looked at it now as a responsibility for me to now have to check myself.
Hmm.
I have a greater appreciation for what Boondocks did and what Dave Chappelle did with the Chappelle Show, and even now his stand up. And now I'm a fan
Okay.
because now I understand the mind it takes in order to push people into change. And sometimes you got to piss people off in order to really think. Now, I'm not saying going around, start grabbing chicks by the crotch and all that, but sometimes you have to piss people off in order
Right.
to think. And his whole stand up was all about um, how Black people have been disenfranchised,
Okay.
how Black people's voices and that movement that we were into has not taken us as far as we want to go.
Okay. So I want to put a pause right here. We are not ending. We will continue the conversation, but we're going to have a mental moment with Manal. Manal, if you're going to take center screen, I want you to share with us something this week that can help us in our mental and in our romantic lives.
So I have been really looking into the idea of plastic surgery, not because I'm into plastic surgery personally, but it's definitely something that is on the rise and is being more celebrated and talked about, just even in common spaces. And the process of this plastic surgery, when you're going cosmetically, you make a decision that you want to get this body part altered. You go in, you have the consultation, you get the team of support around you, you get an idea of what that process is going to look like. You have a team of support around you. You have to give permission with signatures, saying that you're signing on for this process. And then you have your body outlined, and then you go under the knife and you submit to this process. And that same process that you go under cosmetically for your outer body is the same process that you actually have to go through with your mind and your spirit and your soul. And you have to choose that you are going to go under the knife and do that work. And it requires that choice. You know what? I need to work on forgiveness. You know what? I need to work on patience. I need to work on self love. And you have to submit yourself to that same process. And it's cosmetic and it's absolutely by choice. And it is a process. And so the sooner you submit yourself to that process, the more you
Mm,
love yourself, the more you accept yourself, and the more you can give of yourself. And you and your partner will be very pleased.
I love it. I love it. So don't. What you're basically saying is, don't get fine on the outside and not work on the inside. Is
Man,
that what you're saying?
that's
Oh,
what I'm saying.
I love it. I love it, Manal. That is our mental moment with Manal. All right. So continuing the conversation on Dave Chappelle. Gail, do you have any input or thoughts that you would like to give?
Yes, girl. Tell us, girl.
So I haven't seen the special.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the comments on, Twitter, Facebook, all of the social medias. This is what I think. I don't think we need to counsel anyone, but I think we need to educate.
Okay.
And bringing people into education can bring people into understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was listening to Jill Scott and their podcast, and they were kind of talking about cancel culture and talking about the baby and all that. They haven't gotten up to the Dave Chappelle thing yet. But they were talking about like how we just need to open our minds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when you start saying things against the LGBTQ plus community, don't forget that there is Black people that you are speaking against that is a part of that community,
Facts.
right? So you have to keep that relevant too when you're making these comments, because everything is not a white LGBTQ plus
Mm-hmm.
community thing. And so I just believe in us educating people. Education is where it starts. Conversation is where it starts. Um, and being able to hear one another, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not just listening, but hear,
Right.
and not trying to come up with a rebuttal or a response while the other person is talking, right? Because you miss a lot of things in translation. So you hear, so then you're responding to what you thought that person said instead of what that person said. And so let's start listening. Let's start being educated from credible sources, because
Mm-hmm.
Lord knows we get a lot of education from that's
YouTube.
not. So we want to do credible sources. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So we want to do credible sources. And those are my thoughts until I sit down and watch the show. I haven't had a chance yet. Work has me tied up, but I will watch
Okay.
it this weekend.
So my thoughts are simple. Okay. Now, if you know me, you know I love the hell out of T.S. Madison. That is my. I think she need to be somebody pastor, but she don't think that. But I love T.S. Madison, and my thoughts are similar to hers. If you don't like it, don't
Yeah,
watch.
turn it off.
And see, this is kind of where I'm at with people. Don't go places where you know they're gonna offend you, and then get offended when you go there.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of like B Slade. We know who B Slade is.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, somebody invites him to their church, and then get mad when he get his ass on stage and start dancing. He every time he look at a mic, that Negro start dancing and doing. I mean, he just look at it and just go crazy. You cannot get mad at somebody for being who they are. I'm gonna say this. I was not a fan of the Dave Chappelle show. I'm still not a fan of the Dave Chappelle show. Like, it's not something I can't say I watched one full episode. He
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't all of that for me. Now when we talk about Boondocks, that's a whole nother ball of wax. The Boondocks had me over here crying, grabbing my stomach, about to throw up because it was just hilarious. Now, his stand up recently, I've not always been a fan of Dave Chappelle stand up. He addresses everybody, okay? I did not like his commentary on some of the LGBTQ um, things, but I'm going to say this. There is no one artist that I agree with 100% of what they do. As much as I love T.S. Madison, she says some shit I don't agree with, you know? And I think we got to get out of this. I have to agree 100% with everything you say and what you do. Because if we do that, then we're always going to stay separated from somebody.
Yeah.
You know, we got to be able to reach past our differences. But if you don't like it, turn it off. When he did his whole Jesse Smollett thing ordeal, I quit watching that special because I'm going to tell the truth. I still believe Jesse, however you say his name, damn it.
Juicy.
Right.
Come on now, we're not going to act like that guy is not fine. Well, y'all, but um, I still believe him. I think that the police saw an opportunity to ram it or stick it to a brother, and I think they did it. And I think us not holding them accountable and making them really reveal the truth, because if he was guilty, you're not gonna tell me he would not be in jail right now. He is gay, but he is black, and they would have had him up under a jail somewhere. He just probably ain't got enough proof to stick it back to the police, and that's just my thoughts on that. When you don't agree with something, stop watching. Click off. Go someplace else. You don't always have to stay. Now, the difference between this and a law is watching comedy is a choice,
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't have the choice of changing gender or skin color when you get pulled over by the police. So that's why we can raise all kind of hell when shit like that happens versus somebody on TV saying some dumb shit. Just turn the channel. If the ratings get low enough, either they gonna change what they saying or the network gonna kick them off. Period. Point blank. Those are my thoughts.
I think it's really interesting though, because again, I'm a student of comedy, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so when I think about comedians, their job is to say things that are controversial. Their
Right.
job is to say things that are provoking.
Right.
Job is to not just entertain, but it's also to impart um, different choices into a society, right?
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so we have our Richard Pryor that made us think twice about how the police engaged us, right?
Mm-hmm.
He, I don't know how much stand up y'all watch, but one of his famous bits is when he was talking about being chased down by police dogs, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or when he was talking, same stand up when he was talking about how the police were doing the chokeholds and snapping niggas in half, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this was far before
Right.
uh,
Um,
it hit the news.
Eric Gardner or any of that. Right.
Richard Pryor said it on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
We have Eddie Murphy, who has had us question a little bit more about how we engage sexually when he was talking about STDs on stage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I think about even Dave Chappelle stand up. When you watch it, you see he's calling us to question. He's
Okay.
calling us to be more cerebral about the way we engage one another.
Mm-hmm.
He's calling for us to look at the LGBTQ plus community as people. And because I don't dismiss Dave Chappelle as a person from his stand up, and as a
Right.
person, he is all about unity. He is all about fair and equality.
Equal quality. Yeah.
All about everybody having a voice and people not being sensitive, um, being so overly sensitive to where they are blocking out the voices of one another. He's all
Mm-hmm.
about listening to each other. And so even in his play with LGBTQ plus community, in that stand up, he's saying, listen to the black people because we matter, and listen to the LGBTQ plus people, and listen to your own people.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I like it. I like it. So it is polarizing. It is polarizing. If you are offended, my feelings is don't watch. Does Dave Chappelle need to be canceled? In my opinion, no. This whole cancel culture thing, I have a problem with a lot of it. Some people do need to be canceled. I'm just gonna say that. Some people got it and they deserved it. But I think just like anything, we be taking stuff too far sometimes. Those are my thoughts. Now, tonight we are debuting my segment. You know, Manal has the mental health moment. Keisha, when she returned, has the thankful thought. And I have the segment called Now You Know You Need an Ass Whooping. And this is when I come and I let y'all know somebody needs an ass whooping. Okay? Now, I came across this story today. I was going to talk about something else, but this story came across my timeline. Somebody sent it to me and asked me my thought. And so I'm going to share my thought on this right here. Okay, there's a young couple who are expecting a child. The child has been labeled a boy in their relationship, and they are they got the paternity test, and it's going to be a boy. They're having a baby shower. Everybody's coming with boy gifts, boy gifts, boy gifts, boy gifts. And all of a sudden, there's this other couple that come with a pink box. And the parents take the pink box and say, why, thank you. But we told you we're having a boy, right? And the other parent said, yes, but he might not want to be a boy. So they opened the gift. They were kind at first. They opened the gift, and it was baby dolls and, things that we would deem girl toys. Okay. The parent then turns around and says, but no, we're going to raise our boy as a boy. We're not going to raise our boy as a girl. The parent said, listen, you're going to have a male child, but you don't know if he's going to be a boy, or if he wants to be a boy or not. He may want to be a girl. And they got offended at the party because the parents didn't want to take their gift. Now, this is where I cut in and say, now you need a mass whooping. Listen, if them parents tell you they don't want their child playing with dolls and doll houses and painting their nails and combing their hair or whatever, they have that right. Everyone has a right to control their house. Okay? You don't have to agree with it, but you also do not have to live there. Okay? And I want everybody to understand I am not anti-LGBTQ. I am a proud gay man, bisexual man. I am. But I do understand that people have the right to their own opinions and their own beliefs. Okay? We cannot go around forcing other people to think the way that we think. After the child gets here and grows up and he makes his own decision, that is absolutely fine for that child to make that decision. However, we cannot force parents to parent the way we want them to parent their children. Let's see how I get out of this. There we go. All right. Any input?
Walter.
Uh huh.
Yeah, they do need their ass beat because that's crazy. First and foremost. First
Mm
and foremost. Now, I'm a very loud voice. I have a very big opinion.
hmm. Mm hmm.
And I know this about me, but I also know when to shut up. And so I am
There it
not
is.
going to come to somebody else's event
Mm
and tell them how it's supposed to go. Um,
hmm.
so to me, that's just completely disrespectful. Now, I'm a different kind of mama. I have
You
a
are.
level
Mm
of understanding and education and things of this nature. And the way I parent is not for the faint at heart. So with
Mm-hmm.
my child, yes, I have a male child, but I also know the importance of him not being so
hmm.
close-minded,
Period.
right?
Period. Mm hmm.
And so he has a Barbie set. He needed to
Okay.
understand how to nurture. He needed to understand how to reenact real life situations and communication between people. So he
Mm
had
hmm.
a Barbie set. Now, did he touch it for real? No, because I didn't introduce it to him until he was 7. But looking back, I would absolutely give him an array of options of toys
Mm hmm.
sooner. And it has nothing to do with gender. It has everything to do with exposure. It has everything to do with the fact that certain toys teach certain skills. And so toys are educational tools. We need to stop assigning them
Okay.
gender. Just
Okay.
Agreed.
I tend to agree with um Lanice Morgan here. Listen, let the kids learn the world first. Okay. So I have friends who are big on their kids' sexuality because they have kids in like the fifth grade and sixth grade. They're saying they're gay, and I tell parents all the time when it comes to kids and sexuality, I don't want to hear shit. That needs to be something that you kind of help them in their life. You help them to deal with. They don't need everybody in the community concerned about who they like, who they're attracted to, what
Mm-hmm.
the ongoings is. Of course, I'm a loving individual. I'm not going to ostracize them if I see certain things or if I observe certain things. But let them learn the world first. He may think he's gay in the sixth grade, and he may be a womanizer by the time he's in the 12th grade. You don't know yet. He don't know. To be completely honest, yeah, you just don't know. But you definitely bring up very good points about toys. I have another friend. She's a really good friend of mine. She is an open minded parent, and I remember when we were younger, y'all. When I was younger, I was raised in a strict religious household. Girl, excuse me. Girls played with dolls. Boys played with GI Joes, and even though they are dolls, we didn't call them dolls. They were action figures. But
Right, right.
so I could remember as we got older, one of my friends had a baby, and we saw her male child playing with the doll, and I was like, "You gonna let him play with that doll?" You know. Now I'm sitting up here, all these secrets I got in my closet though, but I'm sitting there. You gonna let that boy play with that doll? And she was like, "Yeah, I'm pregnant. He's gonna have a little sister. He needs to know how to." Interact with
Mm-hmm.
her. No, I'm like, oh. At the time, though, I was like, you gonna mess up that boy. Boy is in high school now. The boy is in high school now, and there's nothing. Now, I'm not saying anything is wrong with being gay, but he's not gay. He's
Right.
right. So I think sometimes we force things on children
Mhm.
that have nothing to do with them, and then we include them in conversations they're not even trying to be a part of.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like, because I was that mom at one point that spent way too much money on getting my nails done, things of this nature.
Uh-huh.
And I've always taken my son with me. He needs to get
hmm
manicures. He needs to get pedicures. He needs to understand how to be one
Right.
room's individual,
hmm
right? And you ain't about to keep fighting me. So let's go over here to this shop, and we just gonna make a little moment of it. And so when he got older, and this was probably last year, yeah. So he was 9, and he said, "Mom, I want to paint my nails a color too." And I was like, "Yeah." I said, that's mommy's gonna get some color, and you can get clear, and I didn't
Uh-huh.
make a big deal out of it. I know
hmm
that all he's doing is mirroring what his
You
parents.
see, right.
I am the only parent in his life. So
hmm
by nature and law of parent-child relationship, he's just trying to do what I do. And
hmm
so I didn't make a deal out of it.
Right.
I just
Yeah.
redirected him. Now, my mind, I got into an argument with my sister
hmm
who paints her son's nails, and he's 4. Now, ma'am, you can do exactly what you want to do with your 4-year-old. He's
Right.
4. But my 9-year-old showing up in the world with his nails painted, all because he doesn't have a father figure, because I know the difference,
hmm
is not fair for me to allow him to do that at 9,
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
showing up in
Right.
spaces
I get what you're saying.
and with boys
I get what you're saying.
doesn't need that attention when that's not even his identity yet, right?
hmm
So, and so, we got in an argument about it because she felt how she felt and I felt how I felt. And at the end of the day, my house, your house, that's how I feel.
Right.
Um, and so I told her, I said, now, if he comes to me at 16,
Right. Right. I
18,
like the balance.
and he's like, Mom, I want to paint my nails. Like, I'm ready for that. And I'm like, all right, then, son, let's go. He's
Mm-hmm.
at a different level of understanding of self and reasoning. Level.
Right. I
Yes.
I concur.
Yes.
I concur. And because I know you, I know you're not beating him over the head. Because, see, let me tell you something. If Walter would have walked up to Roy or Edith and said, I want to paint my nails, automatic ass whooping. That would have been, oh no, listen, there's a lot of things we do in this house, but boys do not.
Right, right.
Right.
Yeah, I think my parents was very I don't want to say lenient, but
Mm-hmm.
wasn't very focused on that. I like boy toys, I like boy clothes, and they still tried to put me in girl stuff, and I was like, this is so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we really didn't. My generation, with our parents, we really didn't have that conversation. We didn't have the language around having that conversation. So it wasn't until I was about 22-ish, 25-ish, I was able to put language around what I was feeling and what I was doing.
Okay.
However, on the other hand, my daughter just got exposed to the gamut of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom's gay, like she
Mm-hmm.
has a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Like my daughter just got exposed to that.
Yeah.
At I want to say about 14, I was like, okay, I can't no longer not have a partner because I have a kid. I need to partner up. Um, and it did nothing to her.
Right.
Um, and so we have to understand, like you were saying, like just because there is exposure to does not mean that they're automatically going to jump that side of the fence.
Right.
Just means that they have this information. And when they get to an age where they need to tap into that level of information, they will then know what to do with that information.
Absolutely.
A long time ago, I was a teen parent advocate.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to teach my teen parents, it is about how you expose your children to different things. You have to expose them to different things so they know how to handle those things when
Yeah.
they get older.
In the real world,
And
right.
and trust that the information that you have put in them, they can reach back and sort out and come up with a great decision that is suited to them, not suited to you,
Yes.
not suited to grandmom and grandpa,
Yes.
not suited to their pastor, not suited to anyone else, but what is best for them at that time. And
Mm-hmm.
we as parents may not always agree with it,
Yeah.
but we need to know that it's the best thing for them at that time and not what is best for us or us
Mm-hmm.
living through our children's eyes.
Yeah. That's good. I absolutely had that conversation with my son probably a month or so ago, and he said I asked him why did he do a certain thing, because to me it was outside of his normal mode of behavior. And so I was like, why did you do that? And he said, well, I didn't want to make you mad. And I said, and I didn't address the thing, I addressed the mindset. And I said, sir, don't you ever make choices based off of mommy being happy, sad, mad, upset,
Mm-hmm.
confused. Don't ever make choices that way.
Right. Right.
Not now, not as an adult. You need to make choices because it is, it to be the right thing to do or the most appropriate thing to do. And it ain't about my feelings. And I told
Right.
you, I may never agree with the things that you do. I may never like the choices that you make, but that doesn't eliminate my love and it doesn't eliminate my acceptance. And I need you to get that in your mind right now.
That's
Yeah,
important. That's important.
good.
You got him so ahead of the game just by understanding that. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. All right. Well, I think we have had the discussions on tonight that we got on here to have. Next week we will be talking about why are women. There won't be the whole conversation, but one of the topics we will be addressing is why are women waiting later in life to have kids? They not having them at 16 no more, child. They trying to wait till 40.
I cannot with you. Not at 16, at 25.
They trying to pop them out at 40, and I just want to know why. I absolutely have my thoughts and opinions on that, and I will be back with another segment of now. You know, you need an ass whooping. That that segment ain't going nowhere. I've been wanting to say a few things for a while. It's a few people that need an ass whooping.
Let it out.
So we'll be back with a mental moment with Manon next week. And I don't know. We're gonna try to work something out, Keisha. We're gonna have to have you something on stand. I mean, oh Lord, Keisha, Lord, Gail. We're gonna have to have you something on standby for when you with us. You know, maybe you're gonna have to give us a nugget with Gail or what. They got to rhyme with your name. I don't know, but we gonna it's gonna work out.
Yes.
It'll work out. All right, listen, I love each of you all. You know how to follow us because you are a part of the connection. Remember, this is the one place on the internet where your voice actually matters and we can have the discussion. Absolutely. Thank you all for tuning in. And as always, if you go with God, know that He will most certainly go with you. Bye bye.